Hello, everyone. Hello. We are live for GMass office hours, uh, and we'll get started officially in 1 minute at the top of the hour. My name is Sam. Welcome in. If you were here at last week's office hours when I was sick, fortunately, I'm feeling a lot better now. So I got COVID caught up with me, but I'm all good now. So come on in as you're arriving here. Welcome. You can go ahead and drop messages into the chat. And wow, look at that. It is already the start. I did not have my usual 5 minute chit chat beforehand this time. So I'm going to get started. Here's how this works with office hours. If you are here or as you arrive or in future weeks' office hours, if you're watching the recording of this, I answer the questions that people drop in the live chat in the order that I receive them. In lieu of those questions, or while we wait for people to arrive and people come in and out and whatnot, I answer questions that people pre-submitted when they RSVP'd to this event. So I did get quite a few RSVPs. Sorry, I'm going to adjust my position in my chair. This is very unprofessional. There we go. So I will address the RSVPs and I will go through those questions right now. And yes, seeing that I do not see any live questions in the chat, I'm going to jump into the pre-submitted questions. As people arrive, if they drop in questions, I will take a break from answering the pre-submitted questions and answer those. I can go for an hour. I have gone over an hour if there's a lot of live questions. However, if we don't get a lot of live questions, usually I'll go through the pre-submitted questions, give people a few more minutes, and then I'll wrap up. So I'm going to start with the pre-submitted questions, but as people get here, please go ahead, drop your questions in the chat, and I will answer the questions in the order people ask them. In the meantime, let's go through some of the pre-submitted questions. Here we go. All right, I'm pasting them in the chat. The first one is too long to paste in the chat. That's why it's happening. Okay. Okay, let's see if this one works. There we go. So I'm still not sure how to use Google Sheets. I have a few emails about me sent to numerous people. How do I get those email addresses from the email line in Gmail to the Google Sheet I want to use? Okay. So jumping a little bit all over the place, but let's talk about a couple of things here. First of all, let's talk about using Google Sheets with GMass. So the way that Google Sheets works is you'll put in your columns that you want to use for a mail merge. We want to have a column here of email addresses. That's the only thing that we really absolutely need. And then you can have other columns with other types of information. For instance, in this Google Sheet, I have first names, business type, a personalized message, a date, and then I also have special addresses to CC and BCC for some of the contacts. Now, when you connect this Google Sheet to a GMass campaign by clicking this button, this will connect to the Google Sheet. I'll pick it from the drop-down list, and I'll connect to the spreadsheet. You don't need to do anything about the email addresses here. GMass has automatically turned them into this alias, and each of these, in this case, 6 people and 6 individual email addresses will get their own personalized, unique email. They won't know that you sent it to other people. It'll look like you sent a one-on-one email just to them. So you don't need to do anything on your end to get the email addresses here. Likewise, on this sheet, I also had columns for CC and BCC. You don't need to do anything that. If you're using customized CC and BCC addresses, those will automatically get placed in there by GMass also. You don't need to do anything when it comes to getting the email addresses in. Now, when it comes to getting the other mail merge information in, then you do need to decide how you're going to use that. And that's, you can type a left curly brace, which brings up this drop-down list of all the column headers from my Google Sheet, so I can pick first name. Or you can come down to the GMass settings for the campaign, go into the personalized field, pick the one you want. GMass tells you we've copied that to the clipboard, and now I can paste it in. So that's how you get the other mail merge things in. So that's how you get email addresses into your campaign. Basically, you don't need to do anything other than having those email addresses in the Google Sheet in a column. Now, there's something else that this person's question sort of touched on, and that is if you wanted to get email addresses from Gmail to a Google Sheet. So we don't exactly do that. But what we can do is GMass has a feature where it can generate a new campaign list for you based on a Gmail search. So let's search here in Gmail. I'm not even sure. Let's say we were an e-commerce store and we wanted to send emails to everyone who had received a receipt. Okay, I have a few receipts in here. So you could do receipt. So we did a receipt here. I searched for receipt. Now notice that this little magnifying glass button just appeared here. And when I mouse over it, I don't know if you can see the mouse over on the screen share, but it says build an email list from Gmail search results. So if I click that, what GMass is doing is it now went through the search, found all the relevant addresses in here, and built a recipient list out of them. So you can see Shine, Me, and Boomerang. So it found the relevant ones in there, and it built a list out of those in order that I can now use to send a new campaign. So that's a way to take a Gmail search and turn it into a GMass campaign. So I hope those answer the questions you have about the back and forth between Gmail and Google Sheets, with GMass as sort of serving as something of a middleman here. Another thing that does come to mind that we might want to address is another aspect of getting email addresses from GMass to Google Sheets. So here in the GMass dashboard, which you can access by clicking this little dashboard icon right here, in the dashboard, you can see all of your current campaigns and previous campaigns. And if you want to download everyone it went to, you can click on recipients. Let me find one that has more recipients. Like let's say this one that has 7 recipients. I can click here, and then I can click download, and this will allow me to download all of the recipients here in a CSV, an Excel file, or export it to Google Sheets. So that is a way to get email addresses out of a Gmail send, GMass campaign, and back to you where you can now do what you need to do with those email addresses, if that should come up for whatever reason. I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question. And yeah, if you have further questions, let me know. Obviously, you can let me know during office hours, or you can reach out to our support team. All right, well, still no live questions, so let's go to another of the pre-submitted questions. That is this one. I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat. How confidential is the email that is going through Gmail? Are they stored in a different server other than Gmail? So I pulled up our privacy policy in advance because we addressed this specifically. Does GMass store the content of your email message? No. So the way that it works, unlike traditional servers, because we're sending through Gmail, everything's happening over there. So the GMass database does not store the contents of your campaigns. What you it goes through Gmail servers, not our servers, and so it's just going through Gmail. As you can see, the content does pass very, very, very quickly through in microseconds through our server, but the content of the email address does not live there. So I can tell you GMass has been in business since 2015. That is 9 years. There has been no privacy complaints, to my knowledge, at any point. We are very aware of the trust that comes with handling people's email and the access that we get to your email, the permissions that we have to ask for both your email and your Google Docs, like Google Sheets and Google Drive in certain cases. So we are very aware of that, and have no interest in reading your email or doing anything of that nature. It's just not. It's not good business. It wouldn't be good for us. There's no need for us to have those emails. So why would we do it? And so no, we are not stored. I can assure you that the confidentiality is on point with the emails you send through GMass. All right, let's do another one. Here is another pre-submitted question. And this one is to log. I'm going to delete the part that's too long. There we go. In a paid subscription, can we change our Google account workspace as well? Like if I am using abc.com Google Workspace with GMass, then I want to change my workspace account to xyz.com with GMass. Can I do that? Yes. Thank you. All right. Well, the good news is yes, you can. The way that transferring accounts across GMass, a GMass account, across email addresses works is that we do not tend to bind anyone to a certain domain or a certain email address. GMass is very loose about its definitions there. Like for instance, here's a good example. On a team plan with GMass, your team plan can include all people on the same Google Workspace account, but we allow you to have a team account that also includes people on other Google Workspace accounts or even people with free gmail.com accounts. We are not prescriptive and saying that if you're a company, you must only operate within this certain domain name that you've sent us. In fact, with cold emailers in particular, it's quite common to use multiple Google Workspace accounts, multiple domain names, because you're trying to change up the variety in your domain names. You don't want to get one burned out if one gets blacklisted or whatever it may be. So it's very common. So we are absolutely wide open to people using them. And to answer your question, yes, you can switch to a different account. So it's here in the GMass dashboard, which again, you get to by clicking this little icon right here. Let me make sure my screen didn't freeze. There we go. Okay. That you can get to by clicking this little icon right here. Here in the dashboard, go over to the settings icon. Brings up the settings panel on the left. My account. Transfer subscription. And here in transfer subscription, you simply type the other email address to which you want to transfer your GMass subscription. It doesn't matter what the Google Workspace account is, what the domain is, and you can transfer it here. Easy. We make this all as self-serve as possible. We'd love to not be involved in the process, so we just really try to make this as easy as we can for you to make your transfer. As you can see here, I'm on a team plan, a 5-member team plan, monthly billing for this account. This is my test account, and I could transfer the subscription to another. I could transfer my 5-team account. So this would change who the lead is on that team account, and it would transfer it over to there. So super easy. All right. Welcome in to anyone who has come in late just to do my, we've been going for 10 minutes talk, 12 minutes actually. So my name is Sam. I do the weekly office hours here at GMass. The way this works is if you ask live questions in the chat, I will answer those. In lieu of that, if I haven't received live questions or I'm through all the live questions that have been asked, I go through the questions people pre-submitted during the RSVP process for this week's office hours. And so go ahead and drop a question in anytime, and I will answer it. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to answer the questions that people asked during the RSVP process. We still have a few to go through, so I'm going to go through those, and I'll continue to go. If I don't get any live questions, I'll probably wrap up at about the half-hour mark. If I am getting live questions, we'll just keep going. So let's see. Here's the next one that someone pre-submitted. Let me paste this one into the chat. It is, my campaign has been set for 20 emails per day, but only one email is being sent. What am I doing incorrectly? Please help because the campaign has begun. All right. So this is something we do see a lot, a question that we see somewhat frequently, which is people wondering why they think they should be sending to X number of people, but they're only sending to X minus however number of people. And there are any number of reasons that this could happen, but I will go through the most common ones. So when you have a spreadsheet here, these are the addresses. So right now, when I said this, I'm assuming this is going to go to all 6 of these people. Now, there are a few things that could stop that from happening. One of them is you may have, if you or people on the same domain name as you are using global unsubscribes or global bounces. So what global unsubscribes and global bounces are, is that means if someone in your who's using the same email domain as you, for instance, let's say I was at I was at companyxyz.com. And someone else at companyxyz.com has also used GMass with global unsubscribes. If someone has ever unsubscribed from my teammate, Jeff at companyxyz.com, they'll go on the global unsubscribe list here. So that means if I try to send to them, that email will be suppressed because we want it to be so if someone unsubscribes from one person at your company, this is a way to make it so they've unsubscribed from all of you. So someone else isn't messaging them, and then that's when they start to get angry. In addition, same thing can happen with global bounces. If my coworker Jeff at Company XYZ sent a message to someone and that address bounced, it goes on the bounce list. And with global bounces, that means if I try to send to that address, it will bounce as well. It would bounce as well if I sent it, which is why GMass suppresses that email and makes it so it doesn't go out. So that's one thing that's happening behind the scenes that might be reducing the number of people who are receiving your campaigns. Now, there are also a few things that could be happening in the campaign settings that could be doing this. So let's look over at campaign settings here. Let's connect my Google Sheet, my demo sample group, which of course is 6 people. And well, let's say we're sending a campaign to that. Here in the settings, stuff. Here in the settings, there are a number of things that can be going on that can then limit the number of people who are receiving your campaign or make it so a few people aren't. Let's look at some of these. One is scheduling. You may set a speed where you want to send X number of emails per day. So if I set the speed at I only want to send 10 emails per day, that can limit how many people are getting my campaign. This also, this wouldn't affect it, but if you're doing 10-minute pauses, it may look like, if you're pausing for 5 to 10 minutes between emails, it may look like people aren't getting them, but they are getting them. Here, in the advanced section, are you using email verification? If so, if you check this box to verify emails before sending, GMass will actually ping each of the email addresses on your list before it sends to each one. And if it receives an issue, GMass will not send it. So that's trying to reduce the number of bounces that you're going to get when you send a campaign. So if you have this turned on, this may limit the number of people getting it. In addition, though this is unlikely that something you could do accidentally, the other things that I've discussed here are things that you might have done. This is something that's hard to do accidentally, but we have suppression lists. And that's when you have a campaign and you want to manually remove a person or a domain or even people from a prior campaign from your new campaign. So for instance, this is a drop down. You could say you want to send this new campaign to everyone, but you don't want to send it to people who just got this Hello There campaign. So you could do that there. You can also put domain names. For instance, let's say I didn't want anyone from uber.com to get this campaign. I could suppress them or specific email addresses. So again, this would be hard to do without intention, but this is a way that if you're putting people in your suppression list for a campaign, they wouldn't be getting it. And then, of course, there are other things. For instance, if you've hit your daily Gmail sending limit, as you know, Gmail imposes daily sending limits on a campaign. This wouldn't necessarily happen, but let's say you're using you're on your free trial of GMass, and you've already sent almost your entire allotment of 50 emails in a day that you can send during the trial, and you try to send another one. Now you'd get a pop-up from GMass telling you you've crossed that threshold, but that's another reason why some people might not have received. So these are the various reasons why why you might be sending to a big campaign, but someone or a group of people or any number of people in your campaign might not seem like they're getting it. However, it is possible that they are. And you can always check your sent folder here in Gmail, and the sent folder will show you everybody to whom your email campaign has been sent, even for large scale campaigns. And that way you could double check and see who's getting it. It is possible. I have seen people, and this sounds elementary, but some people who see this and they saw that I had 6 people, but when I connected a campaign, there's only one email address here, and they think that only one person's getting it. No, what's happening here is GMass has just reduced to clean this up. GMass has turned your list into a single alias, one that you could reuse actually, but this means that 6 people will be getting their own individual emails here. This doesn't mean that only one person's getting it. So this is something that's even sort of a point of clarification that we've seen people ask. We even, in our welcome tutorial for GMass, we even address the concept of the alias just because we want to make sure that there's no confusion around that. So that is another reason. But no, this would be an alias. Even though there's only one address here in the to field, this means 6 people will get it when GMass sends through Gmail. All right. So let's. This is actually the last question I received pre-submitted. So again, if anyone has a live question, please go ahead and ask. If not, I will wrap up early after we're done. Hopefully there's more questions, but I understand if there's not. This is a slower week, so all good. This is the last question, which is, where does the email end once it's sent in bulk? Does it go into the recipient's primary inbox or the promotions tab in Gmail? Well, often the goal is to go into the primary inbox. That is the goal for most people. When it comes to the promotions tab, it is possible that it will go to the promotions tab. We have not seen that become a major issue. The promotions tab. Okay, so backstory: when Gmail introduced the concept of the promotions tab, there was this pretty widespread panic in the email industry that the promotions tab was going to kill mass emails and everything that we all do, because everything was going to go there and it was just going to go to that purgatory to die. And what the statistics have borne out since the introduction of the promotions tab is that's actually not the case. A lot of people turn off the tabs, but even for those who don't, people do check their promotions tab. And so they know that sometimes emails are incorrectly put there, but also there's this weird thing where we have this sort of low self-esteem bit as email marketers, where we're like, oh, people don't want our promotional emails. And that's not necessarily the case. The statistics also show that when people subscribe, often they do really want the email. It's not always a case where every promotional email is just something someone doesn't want, so you're trying to trick them into opening and taking action on it. A lot of times these are emails that people want. Likewise, if you're sending cold emails, the goal with a cold email, again, is not to just get into someone's inbox because that gives you a better chance of tricking them into opening an email they don't actually want and taking an action that they don't actually want to take and buying your service that they don't actually want to buy. That's just not how the world works. But it's this kind of negative sort of instinct that we've built up over the years as email marketers. The goal with that cold email is that you're sending something that is targeted and is actually going to meet a urgent need that your recipient has, to the point where they're going to be happy to open it and take action because you're actually going to be solving a problem from them. If you're not solving a problem from them, are they really going to open it and take action? Probably not. So, it's not the end of the world to go into the promotions tab, because if people open it and they see something of value to them, they're going to continue to look in the promotions tab and going to continue to look for things of value and going to continue to click on those and take action. However, if you are very worried about going to the promotions tab, though it is not the death sentence that people in the marketing industry initially thought it was going to be when the promotions tab was introduced, we do have an option for that. And that is the GMass spam solver. So with your campaigns, you can click this little button here called Spam Solver before you send. And let me pull up the GMass Spam Solver to show you a graphic of what it does. When you use the GMass Spam Solver, GMass sends your email campaign to a number of our own owned email addresses. And we keep an eye and then report back to you on where it's going. Is it going to the inbox? Is it going to spam? Or yes, is it going to the promotions folder? And if you do not want to be in the promotions folder, there are recommendations here in Spam Solver, which you can try in order to increase your chances of going to the inbox. And obviously, while the promotions folder is not a death sentence, the spam folder basically is. So we don't want to go to spam. But you can also reduce promotions. So we give you a number of different options. You can choose one, and then you can retest and see if that affects your placement in inbox versus promotions versus spam. So if you're worried about the promotions tab, which is fine, although I'm minimizing it, I'm not discounting it entirely. It is fair to want to go to the inbox as opposed to the promotions folder. However, uh, I would pick promotions over the spam folder any day. So in lieu of going to the spam folder, promotions is fine. But the inbox is obviously where a lot of people want to end up. The inbox is the goal. Companies name themselves, inbox this and that. They don't name themselves promotions this and that. If you want to go to the inbox, you can try and run some of our retesting options and then see if that reduces the number of promotions folders that you're winding up in. That's a very useful tool that will let you know, because again, we as email service companies, we don't know what happens to your emails. No one can. It's impossible for us to know if they go to an inbox, if they go to a promotions folder, or if they go to the spam folder. We can use, the results of the campaign to sort of approximate it, but we don't know for sure. Whereas this, with the spam solver tool, we actually do know for sure because you're sending your campaign specifically to our owned email addresses where we can see what happens on that end. So this is a really useful tool and will be very valuable going forward for you if you're worried about the promotions folder. All right. Well, I know we've had a few live viewers here. Anyone here have any questions? I will wait a few minutes and just kind of hang out. I don't want to wrap up before the 30-minute mark. So I will hang out here, give people a chance to answer. I can go through some other, just talk a little other GMass stuff. But if you have a question, this is your chance, because if I don't get any, I definitely will wrap up. But if I do get some, I'll keep going. In the meantime, I've answered the question that people pre-submitted. A couple things on GMass. We're hiring actually right now. We have a couple of jobs up here. So anyone who's interested, take a look at those. Let's see. I did a really cool series of articles in June. I guess it's August now. I was going to say last month, 2 months ago, about using AI inside of Google Sheets to do all sorts of really cool stuff, using AI to fix grammar and typos, to scrape prospect data right into a sheet, to write openers in Google Sheets, to clean data, to extract email addresses, all of that. Yeah, let's see. New GMass stuff, we can instantly detect rows. This is a really fun feature. I actually use this for the this campaign that I send around office hours. When someone RSVPs, they instantly get an email from me, and I use GMass's instant row detection to do that. So that's cool. Yeah, we have the OAuth webhook API feature. If you're a developer, if you're building apps, lots of really great stuff. And we're continuing to innovate here at GMass and listening to your feedback and building what you want. So, yeah. I'll give it one more minute to see if we get any questions. And if not, then I am going to wrap up this week's office hours. So please let me know. Yes, at one more minute, I will have been live streaming for a half hour. And so I will say that was, I guess, a sufficient amount of time. Got through all of the pre-submitted questions. So, all right. Doesn't look like anyone's going to be sending in questions. So it's been great talking with, myself, but hopefully people are watching this and hopefully people got some value out of this. And I'll be back next week. Please get your questions ready. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can go ahead and send them to our support team or just search the GMass blog. I swear, if you search right here, you will probably find an article that directly addresses your question. We really do have it all buried in there somewhere, and it can all be mined out with search. So have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you next week, and thank you for using GMass.